Yeah, I recently installed a set of Thule aero bars on our Sienna. And aside from being aerodynamic, these things are awesome. They have the T slots in them, so when you want to do things like take a ski rack or a bike rack on and off, it's really, really simple to do. It only takes literally a minute or so to take ski racks on and off the van. And that's great. But I know that overall, having crossbars of any kind is going to have some type of negative impact on your gas mileage. So I set off on a pretty long, several hundred-mile road trip to try and figure out exactly what that gas mileage penalty was for having crossbars or aero bars installed. And I actually got some really, really mixed and rather interesting results. So I'm going to take you through the whole process I used on that road trip and share those results with you, and then see what you guys think. Let's get into it. To keep things consistent, I did the same thing every time I filled up, and that was to go ahead and fill up and let the pump itself auto stop, and then I would sit and wait for about 30 seconds after that. And once that was done, I would squeeze it one more time and let the auto stop kick in a second time. And I did that consistently every single time. And after filling up, I would always reset trip B back to 0 miles. Now I did this whole trip in 4 segments. The first one with the crossbars installed. And I'm going from Fernley, Nevada to Battle Mountain, Nevada, about 186 miles, and it's a speed limit of 80 miles an hour. Now, one thing I want to note is that the elevation gain on this segment was an increase of 351 feet. So I was going uphill the entire way. After making it to Battle Mountain and finishing the first section of the trip, I went ahead and topped off. It took a little under 6 gallons to top off for this particular section, and then I went and checked my mileage, which was 185.4 miles, again with an elevation gain of 351 feet. So after crunching the numbers here, let's see, we did 185.4 miles. We're going to divide that by 5.776 gallons. Our gas mileage was 32.098. So a little over 32 miles a gallon with the crossbars installed. Okay, the next thing I wanted to do was go ahead and remove the crossbars for the next section. So I'm still heading eastbound on I-80 across the Nevada desert, but this time I'm going to be doing it without any crossbars installed. And I'm expecting a pretty big increase in my gas mileage. Okay, now with crossbars removed, we are off. Factory rails only. I'm expecting a lot better gas mileage for this next leg. So as an overview of the next leg, I'm now starting in Battle Mountain, Nevada, and I'm heading all the way to Wendover, Nevada. Distance-wise, it's almost the same as the first leg, and elevation-wise, it's actually a little different. Rather than going uphill, the overall profile for this is going downhill. We actually lose 49 feet of elevation. So I'm expecting some pretty good results from gas mileage perspective. Now when we roll into Wendover, we're at 179.1 miles. So I bust out the calculator to see how we did. When I topped off in Wendover, it took 5.82 gallons. So now I'm at, 32.09. And then I take the crossbars off, we go downhill, and I've actually lost mileage. This makes absolutely no sense to me.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
So far, getting some really mixed results here. Not what I was expecting. Gas mileage on this trip so far actually being worse. Over about the same mileage. Granted, that's not the exact same stretch of highway, but I feel like it's a very, I'll say equal set of highway miles as far as elevation change. Both of these have been heading in the eastern direction on Interstate 80, so I think we're hitting similar weather. It's not like one of them has a headwind versus not. So I'm going to run the same set of tests westbound and see if we get some different results here. But so far, kind of surprised that the mileage wasn't going to be a lot better with the crossbars removed. All right, now we have those crossbars still removed, and we're going to head westbound, basically back the exact same way we came. This time, we're going to have a slight increase in elevation, and we're going westbound. So I'm expecting worse mileage, mostly because there is typically a headwind coming across the Nevada desert when you are heading westbound. So we roll all the way back into Battle Mountain, and that same stretch, man, it took 6.28 gallons as opposed to 5.8, which was the other direction. So I knew that was going to be worse. Let's take a look at what the actual mileage was here. All right, 28.57. So that's with the crossbars removed, we got 28.57. So at this point, I'm in the exact same spot I was on the eastward leg, but I'm reinstalling those crossbars for the fourth and final leg, which is a repeat of leg 1, but in the opposite direction. All right, let's review where we're at. So we are now heading westbound. We're going from Battle Mountain, Nevada, and we are heading to Fernley, Nevada. So westbound on Interstate 80 across the Nevada desert. I have reinstalled the crossbars, and this time, from an elevation perspective, we are actually going downhill. So rather than gaining 350 feet, we're losing 350 feet. All right, that section of the trip was 183.1 miles. It took us 5.981 gallons of gas. So our gas mileage was 30.61. So this is confusing. In both cases, eastbound and westbound, I got better mileage with the crossbars installed. This almost makes it seem like the crossbars are so aerodynamic that it's actually making my gas mileage better. I'm really confused about this. So let's quickly look at the numbers again. Okay, so this section, or going westbound, I went from 30.6 to 28.58. It was a gain of a little bit over 2 miles per gallon by putting the crossbars on. All right, so where does this leave me? I'm a little confused. And I'm definitely open to some suggestions. I guess my first thought is I need to do a similar test, but on the exact same stretch of road with and without crossbars. While the two segments I used were fairly, I think, equal, they weren't the exact same. So maybe there's a variable there that's causing this. Anyway, throw your suggestions down in the comments. Let me know what I should try. And we'll come back and do another gas mileage test. But as it sits right now, it makes it appear that having crossbars installed, at least the aero bars installed, actually improves your gas mileage. That should not be the case, but that's the results I got. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.